Really excited about the day that we have today. And when you are amongst some of the most brilliant minds when it comes to finance in this country, you really feel honored. So our very first speaker for today is a woman who is a trailblazer in her own right. She is an alumnus of the US State Department and the Fortune 500 Global Women's Network. Can we give a round of applause to Ms. Gloria Zvaravanhu as she brings us her presentation.
I was going to take a cue from her and sit right where she is. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's really such a pleasure to be here. And I'm one of those people who, when they see one or two people, I don't care about the empty spaces. Because the person who's here is the one that is important. The one who's here is not important. And I've also learned this with money, with wealth, that the bird in hand is better than the bird that is in the bush. So you keep what you have. You're not always constantly thinking about what you don't have. So because we have you today, we are honored. We are not worrying about those who are not yet here because you are the bird in hand. All right. So today, so the topic that Larry had asked me to talk about is asset protection, and rightly so because I'm an insurer. I've been an insurer for most of my career. So I'm an accountant. But after training, I went into insurance, first into life assurance, and then into short term. So that should be maybe 18 years or so in insurance. I'm stuck there. I don't think there's any other industry that I know. So because of that, she gave me the topic on asset protection. But before I even talk about asset protection, because it's at the tail end, when we're talking about money matters, and she's given us a story with money. We all have a story with money. I also have a story with money. And our stories with money are where we learned how to manage it or how to invest, and every single one of us is that story. So I also have a story which is very much similar to Nyari in the sense that an accountant, you are managing organizations' finances, you are managing big budgets, you are doing it so well. But when it comes to your own home, things are not working, and you wonder why can't I align what I know to what I do personally? And so the answer to that really is around it's a behavioral thing, it's an attitude thing, it's something that you need to teach yourself. It's something that because you're employed, you're forced to do it, you're forced to follow the principles. But when you're now home, you sort of throw those principles away. But so money is all about discipline. That's what I think. I think the underlying word with money management is discipline. Because yes, you can be forced into a disciplined situation at work, but you won't be forced with your own money, so you can do all sorts of things. And so I'm going to just tell a story in the form of a book that I read, and I love reading books. This is what I do. Most of my time, when I have free time, I read books. I read books on money, I read books on anything. And there's a book that liberated me that I'll really encourage you to get a hold of. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. So this little book, it's a fable. It talks about, it's ancient day. It's probably set up in, you'd almost imagine that this is someone who is in Israel or someone who is in the days that Jesus walked and was talking about money matters. It's such a lovely book. And I'm going to share some lessons which are timeless lessons. And so when I read this book, I've read it so many times over, probably 10 times now. The lessons there that I got out of this book should help us to actually have the assets before even going to protecting the assets. So I'll quickly go through the principles from this book, but like I said, I really urge you to get yourself just a copy. There are soft copies, there are hard copies, and you can read for yourself. So the first lesson that I want to just share with you is when it comes to money matters, pay yourself first. When it comes to money matters, when you get your pay slip and when you get your pay in the bank account, pay yourself first. Now what does that mean? It means put some money aside. Doesn't mean go and spend it on yourself. No. It says take out a little bit out of that and put it aside, and then do everything else with the rest. So the book talks about a triple tithing principle that says 30% of, you should only spend 70% of what you get. Trust me, you know what? Our needs expand in proportion to the money that is available. Whatever you have, 70, guys. I've seen it in my career, starting from being a clerk with very little to where I am right now. The money will never be, because it expands in proportion to your needs. So you need to be able to discipline yourself as far as your needs are concerned. Spend only at most 70%. 30% must be set aside. 30% you're saving. The other, 10% you're saving, 10% you are investing, 10% you are giving to something that might not even give you a return. So some of us who are Christians, we tithe. Those who are not Christians, they look for things that they do. I know that in certain religions, they will just say, we look for a charity organization that we give. Those are the principles of life. Because when you do those things, you're putting 10% that you're saving for a rainy day. Then you're putting 10% that you are now saving so that you earn some interest with it. And you're putting aside 10% that you're just giving. And you know that 10% that you just give, you actually don't know what it will bring back. That is the mystery of life and the mystery of money. So I have learned that so very well that one needs to do that. So some call it the 20-10, the 70-20-10 rule, which is to say that 70% for your living expenses, if you're renting, food, clothing, whatever it is else that you do, your entertainment, 20% is savings, which is the 10% you save, the 10% you invest, and 10% is for giving. So saving money will help you because one, if you're saving and putting money aside, you're also securing your future. I'm not going to go into much about retirement planning because Lloyd, that's his forte, is going to talk about that. But you need to save for the future. And I was reading a book by our very own Sokostina. I don't know if you know her, Tendai Garwe. She's got a brilliant book that she wrote to her son, a letter to her son. And one of the principles she put in the book was, if you're spending more than 70% of your money or of your pay slip or your paycheck, you are eating into your future. So I think it resonates very much with this principle from the richest man in Babylon. The second one, make your money work for you. And in the book it says, make thy gold multiply. If you've got $1, endeavor to make it $2 at some point in time. I remember there's a time that I visited the Celebration Church, and on that particular occasion, Pastor Tom Dushel was talking about saving and making your money work for you. We all got an envelope. I don't know how many people sit in that auditorium at the Celebration Center. Everyone got an envelope, and we were told to open it when we got home. I opened it, there was $1 in it. So he says, when you get home, there's going to be something in that envelope. At the end of the month, I want you to make sure that you've multiplied whatever is in that envelope, whatever you do. So everybody got $1. I don't know what people did with it. With their dollars, I certainly didn't multiply mine. But the principle, I got it really from his teaching that make your money work well for you, and we've already spoken about saving. So what is it? So some of us might be employed. You're saying to yourself, okay, what do I do with the money that I'm putting aside? The investment options. I'm glad that my brother Fianot is here. He's from MMC Capital. That's what they do. They help people invest. You find a solid financial advisor who can help you on what to do with investment options. And I'm glad Jason is here. He's probably going to talk about that. So I will not go into a lot of the investment options that are available. But one of the things that I was then taught was that when you are in employment, you need to find an investment vehicle that works for you even when you're not there. This will help you because, number one, even if at some point in your life you get incapacitated to do something, there is something that is working for you that doesn't need your presence. So here I'm talking about things like property. If you go into a property investment, whether you're pulling with other people, I'm understanding people are doing a lot of mukanos, whatever forms and shapes they're taking, pull their money together, get a property, you start getting your rentals. You don't need to be there. You're at work, you're doing other things, you don't actually need to be there. So we need to look at those things, because when you fall, maybe your health fails you, you get older, you know that you have something that will come. It's part of retirement planning, but it's also something that personally, when I read the book, I really said, what is it that I can do? Some will go into business, they will employ people who do it for them. Maybe it's a trade, you're buying things and selling, and you've got a team that does that for you, that doesn't need your presence and things like that. But the idea is to make sure that we have as many streams of income as possible. If you're employed, try to see what other thing can give you money. The investments, yes, can give you a return. What else can you do that can also give you money? You can. I know Nyari is employed, certainly, but she does other things, such as this. And so if I'm to go around the table, I will probably hear a lot of stories about the things that you also do that give you some money. No matter how small or how big it is, I think it's very important. The third lesson is that protect your wealth. Protect your wealth, and I'll cover it later, because I'm here to really talk about asset protection once you have it. So I won't spend time on it, but really the point there is, when you've hard earned your money, you don't want to just lose it willy-nilly. You want to be careful and protect it. Make your home a profitable investment. So here in the book, they were talking about the fact that if you're not a landlord yet, you need to really think about the rentals that you're paying, and say to yourself, if I was to be using these rentals to actually, pay my own loan, and obviously they were talking about mortgage, but we know that Jason and Tim are not giving us the mortgages. They'll tell you we have a mortgage and it's 2 years. So we know in our current environment it's difficult, but some might be lucky. If you work in a bank, or I work in an organization which is a bank, we are lucky in that we can get those kind of mortgages and things like that. So instead of paying the rental, it goes now to your mortgage repayment. That's how you get to own a house and so on. Then the one that I love, the lesson that I love, invest in yourself. Increase your ability to earn. So this one I love, because it's talking about your earning capacity, and it's talking, for me, as a professional, I think that's the biggest asset that I have. Because I could lose everything today, but as long as I have my earning capacity, my reputation, I can still rebuild. I might not get back to where I was, but at least I know that I'll be able to recover myself. So investing in yourself, your earning capability is very, very important. And how do you do that? You are just really mastering your skills. You are just really upgrading your skills. You are making yourself, what can I say? You are making yourself more sellable. You are making yourself also flexible to be able to move from one place to the other, because you don't. So for instance, if you're an accountant and you're working in an organization, it's advisable for you to then start learning other things within the organizations, whether it's the operations or whatever it is, so that you're not stuck within one sector, but you can actually do so many other things. For me, I'll tell you that I'm an accountant, but I'm an insurer, I've done law, I'm doing business psychology. I can be anywhere that I want, as long as so it ups my earning capacity. So all I'm saying is that whatever it is that you are doing, whether you're in business, you're running your own business, or you're employed, never stop investing in yourself. In some of us, we are fortunate we're in organizations that offer us courses, free courses, but because we are so busy with so many other things, we forget to invest in the thing that is giving us money. I really urge you to do this, to invest in yourself. So those were the lessons from The Richest Man in Babylon, in short, but I really encourage you to just read it for yourself. So how do we protect those assets once we've acquired them? So one of the biggest things is, obviously, number one, you have to be wise about where you're investing. Nyari has spoken about being scared at some point in time. If it looks too good to be true, it's likely too good to be true. There is nothing under this sun that can be too good to be, So if you get somebody who tells you that I'll pay you 60% per month, you must ask yourself, what is the risk that I'll get this money back? That is the first line of protecting your investment, due diligence. You must perform due diligence even if it's a relative you're lending to. I have a personal principle. If a relative asks money from me, I assess, I do my due diligence. Will this money come back? If it's likely to come back, I'll probably give them the full amount that they want. If I think it's not going to come back, I'll tell them. If they've asked for 1,000, I say, no, look, I've got 4. I can give you 4. Why? Because I'll say this 4, I can live with it if it doesn't come back. So due diligence is the number one thing. Just that the discernment, if I can, the discernment of knowing the steps that you're taking is your biggest asset protection, because you can sense that where I'm putting my money here is something wrong. About 3 months ago, a sister-in-law of mine actually asked me about a particular investment option. It was very lucrative, and what I just said to her was that, you know what, it really does sound too good to be true, but I'll really urge you to do your own due diligence. Speak to other people who invested and find out how that has worked out. And you know what, 3 months down the line, she actually said, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you that it's kind of, I went ahead and I invested in that thing. It was not real. And you were quite right, that if something doesn't sound and seem right, it's probably isn't right. Now, I'm going to talk about the insurance, because insurance is one of the biggest ways that you can protect your assets. We indemnify. So we will indemnify you, we will buy you another vehicle. We will not better you. That's the other thing that you need to be aware of in insurance. We only indemnify. So if your vehicle was a 1999 vehicle with 100,000 kilometers on the mileage, and you're involved in an accident, it was worth 10,000, we will simply look for a similar vehicle for you, and we'll give you. We'll put you back. If you're even lucky, you'll get the same color, vehicle, and whatever. We actually endeavor to do that. So that's that. So there's insurance for your car, insurance for your house. If you're also in business, there's also business packages that you can actually insure your business, insure the assets that you use to create the money. You can also protect the money by insuring the money itself. So the insurance options are so many. It covers anything and everything. I can just insure anything. I can insure my shoes, I can insure this, I can insure my house. It's just a premium that is calculated. And when you meet a misfortune, you are then compensated. So I think it's absolutely important in the form of protecting your assets. But remember, the first line, discernment. The second line, insure. The third line, I think, is also just to make sure that this asset that you have is maintaining its value, or you're preserving its value. It's a protection mechanism, isn't it? So, for example, you might have your house, perhaps it's being rented, but what you might find is that your tenant is actually destroying this. You are getting a rental, maybe you're getting 200 per month, but maybe the damage that is happening to your house is costing you 1,000 a month. And at some point in time, when you value your house, you realize my house, when I leased it out, it was worth 100,000. Now it's worth 60, because everything is broken down. So preservation is very, very important. Maintenance is very, very important as part of protecting whatever it is that you would have acquired. Nyeri, I think I will stop here and obviously leave room for any questions. But I do know that you are going to read The Richest Man in Babylon. You'll get much more than I've shared with you. And I know that the rest of the panel will do justice to the rest of the program. Thank you.